What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the GameTime Podcast. We are coming to you live September 4th. We are back with a brand new, midweek episode, just kind of covering some things before the NFL season kicks off. I am here with Darrell, my co-host of the GameTime Podcast. We are going to be starting off with Bill Belichick, right? I think that is probably the one talking point we have not hit throughout the week. So that is what we're going to start off with. When you look at Belichick in that first game, it was not a good one against TCU, and I watched the whole game. They scored on the opening drive, Darrell, and then after that, it was all TCU from that point forward. So what's your thoughts overall?
First and foremost, my thoughts are 292 references about the North Carolina Tar Heels turning over 70 players in their roster. It seems like there was a responsibility that the network had to let everybody know that they rolled over 70 players from last season's roster, right? So every time there's a chance, they told us. I don't know if that was to be made a point to say, look how great he's going to do or what. But I'll tell you this, the first drive was excellent. That
That
was
was
it.
it.
That was it.
No,
The crowd was hyped up at the beginning. Everybody's engaged with thinking about, hey, this is Bill Belichick, right? We got Belichick here, but you still got to have the players. That's what I see. You still got to have the players. You still got to be you have to put them in a position to be successful. He's got 30 freshmen on that team. 30 freshmen on that team, and he took 40 transfer portal players. I'm not sure what they expected, but you're not playing against a team that's terrible. You're playing against a TCU team who has talent over there, and I think they showed that. So his first game was a dud. Let's see what happens in week two for Mr. Belichick.
yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. I'm looking to find. They don't play this Saturday, I assume. I believe they do not. No, so they don't play this Saturday, but next Saturday,
They've got Richmond.
Richmond.
No, no. They do play this weekend.
Oh,
They
they
play
do.
Charlotte. They play Charlotte. They play
Okay,
Charlotte on the 6th of September. Yeah.
so we're gonna have to see. We will see how that game goes
Yeah.
for
Well,
North
they're
Carolina.
at Charlotte, so
Yeah, I mean they should win, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't expect TCU's a tough team, right? They've got a really good head coach. They've always had a solid program at TCU. So not the worst loss in the world, but but with when you look at the scoreboard and starting quarterback didn't complete a pass for like 2 hours, it looks pretty bad when you're Bill Belichick and this team. And a lot of people gave flack to Deion in his first college game, his first D1 college game, and he beat ranked TCU. Uh, it,
yeah, but different dynamic though. That was a team coming off of a national title run that lost over 65% of their staff, their players. So
a
not
ranked
the same
beating a ranked
school,
team is beating a ranked team now.
but just because they're ranked, those are two different things though. Dion got a lot of credit. Oh, you beat TCU, but look what that season turned out to be. There's a lot of teams that are ranked high in the beginning of the season that wind up not ranked at all. So, yes, it was TCU. You got to give credit where credit is due. He beat them, but it was a shell of the team that played in the national title the year before. I just put it that way. But give Deion credit. He's building something in Boulder, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Obviously, they lost to Georgia Tech in the last couple seconds. Unfortunate when you look at it. But I think for Dion, I think they're going to be fine. I think this is definitely a stepping stone for Dion. He's not going to stay at Colorado for much longer. I feel like I think eventually he'll move up. He's going to have to put on some winning seasons to get to move up, but I think he will eventually move up because I mean, you just look at the landscape of college football. I hate to say it. The Big 12, you're not going to win a national championship in the Big 12 right now. The Big 12 is just such a conglomerate of teams that are just middle of the pack, right? I mean, Iowa State's been good for the last couple seasons. Arizona State almost beat Texas in the playoff. but that's about it. After that, it's a mixed bag, right? People say Utah's going to be good. Then you have people saying, well, Texas Tech has all this NIL money, so they've gotten a couple good recruiting classes the last year or 2 years or whatever. So,
Well,
the
upcoming
or
26
upcoming,
and
yeah.
27.
So right now, I mean, when you're Deion, the Colorado should be looked at as a stepping stone, maybe not as a team that can win the national title, because I just don't think the Big 12 conference as a whole is going to be that much competitive. And even when you look at the ACC, it's just Clemson, Notre Dame, even though that Notre Dame is like Notre Dame, like do they love me? Do they
You
not?
can't
Like
enter Notre Dame. They don't have a conference affiliate.
do they love me or do they not? You don't. Notre Dame doesn't know what they want to do in that regard. Who
Yeah,
else
they
is?
do. They know they don't want to go
Yeah,
to
they
a
do.
conference. They don't need to. They're
Yeah,
not going
fair
to a
enough.
conference.
Well, I don't know. That's definitely a relationship for sure that just has its issues. But when you look at the ACC, you got Clemson, you got Miami, and I mean,
Yeah,
if you're
Florida
going off
State.
brand recognition, you got Florida State. And I'm telling you right now, those three teams are going to the SEC in the next 3 to 5 years. You can almost kind of write that in.
I don't know. I don't think so, especially now that the breakdown of the college playoff format is different. You talked about the Big 12. They've got a guaranteed seat at the table. So you have an opportunity to win a national title if you're a Big 12 school. Why? Because you've got a set plate there for you. So you've got to get the players, yes, of course, but there's an opportunity for you to win a national title in Colorado, at Arizona State, at Iowa State, because you're going to be in the big dance, so to speak. The big dance is 12, not 68. So there's an opportunity for them to do that, and I don't think that Deion's going anywhere anytime soon. I think yes, his sons are gone now. I think he's got a lot of his cronies that are assistant coaches there. I think he's trying to build something there as a stable. Because where would Deion go? You talked about SEC and Big Ten, right? Those are the two conferences. He's not going to. What school is going to take him, or excuse me, where would he go in the Big Ten that would be a better program for him to win a national title? He's not going to Michigan. They're set. Not going to Ohio State. They're set. Not Wisconsin. They're set. Penn State. They're set. USC. They're set.
All right.
SEC. Go to your schools there. LSU set. Texas set. You've got Ole Miss set. Where else you going?
Well, I don't know. LSU,
I mean, him going to Mississippi State.
Ole Miss may
He,
open up. Ole Miss
you,
may
you,
open up because your boy Kalen DeBoer is not
listen,
gonna
let
make
me
it.
tell you. Let me tell you something. I'm going to guarantee you right now. He's not going to Alabama. Stop talking about it. It's not going to happen. Lane Kiffin burned bridges 3 years ago, which made a determination he was not going to even be in consideration. When that job came up, he didn't even get an interview. It's not happening. That's set in stone. That doesn't mean Lane's a bad coach or anything like that. He's burned the wrong bridges in Tuscaloosa. It's not happening.
Okay.
So
Well,
you can say Kalen all you
I think
want and those things, but
there'll be a
it's
new
not going to happen in Ole Miss.
there's gonna be a new head coach in Bama. We already talked
We're
about
not
that.
talking
We already
Bama.
talked about it.
We're talking about schools
Yeah.
where Deion could go. I'm
Go,
asking you, if he goes to Mississippi State, that's a lateral move. If he goes to where else? Auburn, lateral move, right? He's in Colorado. He has an opportunity. He's got to play at the table. So where he is,
Auburn. I mean, yeah,
Auburn.
Auburn's been really bad the last couple of years, but it's definitely.
But that's my point. So you got to name a
I
school.
think
We can sit there and throw hyperboles that we want, but we got to name a school where he would look to be at to have a better opportunity than at Colorado. And I just named you about 7 schools that aren't happening. So
UCLA.
what UCLA? Did you see UCLA this past
I
week?
did see them.
And this
I'm
past
just
few
throwing out.
years?
I'm just throwing out names.
Yeah, that's my point. You're right. So thing is, he's got to find his footing in Colorado. Because if you're talking about national title, he's not going to a school that's ready made.
Yeah.
He's not going, he's not going to go to Alabama. He's not going to go to LSU. He's not Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So where he is in a good place. They love him in Boulder. You got your roots there. dig a deeper hole, plop them roots down, and let's see what happens, Mr. Sanders, over the last, next 4 to 6 years.
When you look at Belichick, what's the overall thought for you regarding Belichick at North Carolina? I think for me, I'm leaning towards is I don't think he's serious to I don't think I don't think he cares about winning national championships. I think and maybe the media's helped sway my mind a little bit too. I think this is more about creating NFL prospects, or in some regard, I think that's what the program is more about, creating NFL prospects, and maybe that's what North Carolina is leaning towards. Now, I think at some point that'll make you an ACC contender. I would hope so, but I think the overall goal for Belichick and maybe the goal with the university for the football program is to make it more, I can't find the right word, maybe not like championship contenders every year for the national title, but to produce more NFL prospects. Because I would assume the more prospects you produce, it helps more NIL money, stuff like that. I mean, North Carolina already makes a bunch of money. I mean, look at the basketball program. So it's like, if you can make the football program even a little bit better with Bill Belichick as your head coach, you're going to bring in even more money than you already do with basketball. So,
Well, good point, but you got the greatest modern day NBA player that went to North Carolina. Everything they've got the Jordan brand on it, right? So they've already got the money piece. I don't know. For me, I don't know why they would have brought Belichick in. To be quite honest, they've already got the name recognition, and you don't see Belichick being there for the next 10 years. I think Belichick is
73.
let's say 68,
No, I said
67,
seven. I think
something like
73.
that.
I'm about to
So how
search
much
it.
time do you give him? Do you give him 4 years, or you give him a recruiting class and say, hey, stay with us for 4 years and then pass the mantle to your son?
He's
Because I think his
73.
son is on the staff,
Yeah,
right?
he's 73.
I think this is a play for his son to be the coach at North Carolina. I
Okay.
don't think I don't think this is a play for him to be at a national title situation. I just think it's a play. Hey, he wanted to get back into coaching. The NFL said no. North Carolina isn't a terrible college football program. They've got probably the greatest linebacker ever to play at North Carolina, Lawrence Taylor. So with that said, there's some name recognition there, and that's okay. But big picture wise, I just think he's there to get his son over on the job. Is what I think, and I think there's probably an exit plan for him. I mean, they're not going to tell us, but I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
if there's an exit plan for him.
I think that's fair. I think for me, I also believe they're trying to produce NFL prospects. I think that's definitely the big thing. And I don't know how many players, they're basically the same age as me, some are younger, which is crazy to think about, but I would assume some of these players are really interested in that because it's like, man, I could, if your draft stock's low and you go work with Bill Belichick, you know, somebody's going to take a chance on you at that point, right? Because you've worked under an NFL head coach, something like that. There's the chance. I'm not
Well,
going to say it's guaranteed. I'm
what
just
about
saying
the
there's the
Deion factor then in
chance.
that case? Who'd you rather go play for as an 18-year-old? Deion Sanders or Bill Belichick?
I mean, it's kind of tough because I think they both have their positives and they both have their negatives. They were saying on the broadcast like Belichick is preaching have fun, and all his NFL teammates are like, man, I don't
That's
know
not
about
real. But that's not real. But
yeah.
see, that's my point, right? Deion's a guy when he get a punt return, he's dancing at the 30-yard line, going into the end zone. He's having fun, right?
Yeah.
He's saying, "I'm here. I'm doing these things to engage in my guys." All the video clips of him saying, "If you don't go to class, you're not going to play. You're wearing
Can't wear
slides,
this.
you're not
Yeah.
going to play." All those things. So I just think if I'm an 18-year-old, which is a few years ago, I want to go play with Deion Sanders. I
Yeah.
don't want to go play for some crudgety 73-year-old man who's not there long term. Bill Belichick is in his ways, and that's fine. He can say all the nice things and, oh, I want to have fun. Okay. What is he supposed to say? He can't have the same stoic attitude that he had in the NFL. Those guys were paid professionals. Granted, while their college players are now getting paid, but you're talking about men who are paid professionals. He's got to try to emulate what he's coaching. And what he's coaching are his kids, 18, 19, 20, 21. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's got to say, "I want to have fun." In other words, I'm not buying it.
Fair
I'm not
enough.
buying Bill
Yeah.
Belichick, and I think it's fraudulent. I just wish they just come out and say, I want my son to have the job when I leave. That's what I think. I think it's a play for that.
Fair enough. I know what I'm going to title this video. Where Belichick or Sanders? I think I got my title. Let's move on before we get to week 2 and just talk about the big game, which is Michigan and Oklahoma. There is one video that has not come out from Sunday. That is our Clemson LSU recap. That'll come out later tonight. You'll see this video before that does come out. But we do want to talk about Dabo Sweeney and Brian Kelly. What is next for those two as the season looms on? And I said it in our video on Sunday, so I'm not gonna go over it too long. I think LSU, other than the Kellyisms, right? Other than having maybe 1 or 2 Kellyisms this year, you look at the schedule. It really is in their favor, to be honest. I think they have to go to Tuscaloosa and then they have to go somewhere else. I know they have South Carolina, which will be tough, but I really think this LSU team with the receiving room, with the quarterback play, because man, Nussmeier looks like a pro's pro after week 1. And I've watched a lot of film, right? So this isn't me just saying this because I'm an LSU fan. This is me watching film. Thank you to Todd. I've been watching a lot of Todd McShay. He's done a lot of good breakdown stuff like that. He does look really ready for the draft if he does come out this year, which I think he is a senior, so he will. But I think LSU could seriously win the conference championship. I'm not going to say national championship. You never know what could happen in that regard. But I really do think when we get down to the end of the year, we're going to be talking about, hey, LSU, they win these last couple games, they're going to be playing for a conference title in the SEC. I think they've got, and you said it, and I kind of agree with you now. I think they've got the on talent paper to kind of overcome who their head coach is. And I think I think when we get down to the end of the year, I think they only have 1 loss heading into the conference title because of the Kellyism.
Well, it's going to be tough. They obviously they got to go to Tuscaloosa. They've got Oklahoma this coming week. They've got South Carolina
Not this
at
week.
home. Is it?
Because Michigan plays Oklahoma.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm looking at the wrong one. So they've got Florida at home, and they also have Ole Miss at Ole Miss, and
that's the other big one.
So they've got some challenging games.
Yeah.
Now, if they come out of this thing unscathed at 1 loss, hell, even 2 losses, they've got a real opportunity to get into the SEC title game.
Yeah,
because their talent. I was talking to a couple of LSU fans, and listen, you got to call it like you see. Just because I'm a Bama fan, I'm not going to say, well, LSU has no talent, they're terrible. No, they've got talent. They've got men over there, and I say that a lot because they do. Those are men over there playing. And I'm going to tell you this. If, in fact, they get by Bama, which is very, very possible, even in Tuscaloosa, they've got Oklahoma at the end, obviously, and then they've got A&M. That A&M game, I think, in 2 weeks is going to be an interesting game, in my opinion, because I think A&M's got some talent there. But it's October 25th, another couple of weeks. In a few weeks, excuse me. I think Texas A&M, Alabama, and South Carolina, of those 3 games, they lose at least 1, possibly 2. But that Florida game is going to be interesting as well, too.
No, I agree. But I think LSU, they've got a serious shot to be a contender. On the other side of this, Clemson, they did lose. It looked like Clemson controlled most of the game. They just kind of fell short there at the end. For Clemson, for Dabo Sweeney, I don't really buy Clemson. I want to give a little credit to Cade Klubnik. I was harsh on him on Sunday. I said he didn't look that good. I went back and watched some things, watched some film stuff. He looked pretty good. I just on paper, it didn't, there was nothing that, or when I was watching the game, there wasn't nothing that I was like, man, Klubnik's looking really good. And I said that on Sunday, but I was a little more harsh about it. Klubnik looked good, right? I think Klubnik could be a first-round quarterback. Obviously, it's so early. It's so early right now. We don't know. I think Nussmeier's a lock. I think Nussmeier's a lock. We've all said his praises at this point. He's gotten better and better. He
looks
over
good,
years.
but we still got to pump the brake. He has the physical presence
Klubnik
of an NFL
Nussmeier?
Quarterback. Now, Klubnik is about 6'1", 210. I think Klubnik will be a better college football player than a better NFL football player. He reminds me of Kyle Trask that played at Florida a few years ago. That's who he reminds me of. Kyle Trask was a second-round pick. He's out of the league. Tampa Bay cut him. So I think that's where Cade Klubnik falls into that place for me. Very, very good college quarterback. He's a seasoned veteran, and they've got a lot to look forward in this season. But I just don't think from the next level, I don't think Cade Klubnik will be a guy that will be sought after highly in the NFL world.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I don't. Clemson's probably still going to be a contender, right, for the ACC.
They don't have a choice. They got
Who,
talent over there, right?
Who else is gonna step to them?
Yeah. Well, the way Miami looked against Notre Dame, I think maybe the title's down there in Dade County.
And they
looked good.
I've been doing some research, right? Me, you, Ramon. I think we all were like, yeah, Carson Beck, he don't got it. Well, I will.
Well, that's one game
for week one. For just week one, I will formally apologize to Carson Beck. He played really well. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say nothing more. I'm not going to overreact. I will overreact about Nussmeier.
I'm not apologizing to him because I saw him in every big game he played prior to this past week. Sorry, I'm not giving.
I mean, look.
We'll wait and see.
There's a lot more pressure playing for Georgia than there is Miami. I feel like so.
He wasn't forced to go there.
He was not forced to go there, but I definitely like playing for Georgia and playing for Miami. Miami's not what it used to be, but that, not to be rude, but Miami's not what it used to be. But they're starting to build back, so we'll see what happens. Overall, though, I think the ACC could still go to Clemson. I'd like to see Miami win it. I'd like to see some other teams win it.
I don't think they've got Miami on their schedule this year either.
So Clemson, yeah, that could really match up.
Yeah.
Will
that be the ACC title game though? If in fact it happens,
that'd be awesome. I think that'd be a great game. I would hope Miami could win. It's crazy they didn't do nothing with Cam Ward well, they got close. They just dropped some easy games because they probably would have been in the conversation last year if they didn't drop some of those games.
Well, let me share some little nugget with you, right? Cam Ward is the only player from that team last year to be on an NFL roster this year.
All right. Well, never mind. That explains it. So, anyways,
nugget there.
Darrell, I know, like I said, we're in week one. We're going into week two. Is there any teams that maybe won or lost that you're interested to see how their season goes for the next, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks, right? Because there's some big matchups, not this week, but in the next couple weeks. So, is there a team or teams that you're interested in seeing as we get farther down the line? Once you name a couple, I'll name a couple.
Two. I mean, two. One is near and dear to my heart. I want to see how Alabama responds after getting beat this past week. You've got, a cupcake this weekend, but your schedule is going to get a little bit more difficult. There's been a lot of talk about player-only meetings and all that garbage. It's talk. What are you going to do on the football field? If the play on the football field doesn't change, you can have all the meetings you want, and it won't matter a bit. So I'll be looking at my boys, Alabama, and the other team I'm looking at is Notre Dame. I want to see how they respond after taking a lick against Miami this past week. Their schedule is not very difficult. They should be able to run the table.
Who?
If they run the table, Notre Dame.
Okay.
If they run the table. They've got in other words, they got everything in front of them that they wanted at the start of the season.
They have
that loss to Miami at home.
Yeah.
That has solidified a top 10 ranking, takes nothing away from their season. Everything's in front of them. They've got nothing to be concerned about if that's their only egg that they're going to lay this year.
They do got A&M, but A&M is coming to Notre Dame.
They're in South Bend.
So we'll see how that goes. Okay. Well, I got my two teams. And the first one is the other team that I root for in college football, and that is the Florida Gators. I think Florida, and we have talked about it at nauseum on this pod, Florida's got a tough schedule. And after next week, the train hits the trail, the railways. They play LSU in Death Valley on September 13th. That's going to be a big one. You got Nussmeier versus Lagway. And then the following week, they take on Florida in Florida. So right
You mean
immediately.
Florida State? You mean the
Or
Florida
sorry, not
Canes?
even Florida, not even Florida. Miami. They take on Miami at Miami. And I mean, and then after that, I need to look who they play that next Saturday. They don't play anyone, I think. So they got to buy that. They got to buy next on the 27th. Okay. But you look at those two games right there. That's huge. Right out the gate, you're going to get tested early on. You're taking on an LSU team that I think is going to be competitive this year. Obviously, we just talked about it. And then on the flip side, you're taking on a Miami team that, I mean, kind of like Texas, they're trying to be back. They want to be back. They want to be back in the college football landscape
Yeah.
and be noted as championship contenders. And so is Florida, right? Florida's trying to get back to what they were about a decade ago, or a little over a decade ago with Tim Tebow. So here we go. Let's see what happens with the Florida Gators, because this is only part one of what is a very hard schedule. My second team is the team we're actually going to talk about next, and that is the Michigan Wolverines. I'm glad Ramon is not here right now because I'm going to be able to talk about this without being told cheater every other sentence. But I get why. I get it. He's an Ohio State fan, and it kicks
But
off.
also, it's true though. It's
Yeah,
also true.
it is true.
Michigan are cheaters. They're cheaters.
Michigan takes on Oklahoma this week, but it's not even for Michigan is the reason that I'm interested in them. The reason I'm interested in them is Bryce Underwood. And Colin Cowherd said it. I watched a clip from him today. I mean, not this year, but maybe next year. Michigan probably, if with Bryce Underwood and whatever they'll have around them next year, you could seriously consider them as maybe contenders in the Big Ten. Not this year, but maybe next year. It could be this year. We'll see what happens. But they take on Oklahoma this week in Oklahoma. That's going to be a tough game, but Oklahoma isn't what Oklahoma used to be. I really think Michigan will win on Saturday. And then after that, they are in action again, but it's against Central Michigan. And then on September 20th, they take on a Nebraska team in Nebraska. Dylan Raiola, a lot of hype around Raiola, a lot of hype around Matt Rule. Can they get this Nebraska program off the floor and bring them back to prominence this year? That's what a lot of people are expecting. That's what I'm kind of hoping. That's what I'm not hoping to see it, but that's what I'm expecting as well, is for them to have a winning record by season's end and not drop so many easy games like they did last year. We'll see what happens with Michigan, right? They take on Oklahoma, then they play at Central Michigan, and then they play Nebraska in Nebraska, which will be tough. So we will see what happens. Michigan and Florida, those are the two teams I'll be watching the next couple weeks because they've got some big games coming up for sure. And then another team on September 20th, Illinois versus Indiana. They're both ranked. We'll see what the Hoosiers can do in that game.
Are they in Champaign or in Bloomington?
They're in Bloomington.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens there.
That'll be a good one to see. That'll be a good one to see. But going back to Michigan, right? You know, Bryce Underwood looks the part. He looks. Yeah. I think I said on one of the calls, he looks physically like Cam to me. I'm not saying he's playing like Cam. He looks like Cam to me. He's a real freshman, making a whole lot of money. Money changes us in some ways. I'm looking to see how he progresses over this season and going into next season as a starting quarterback. Does it mess with him, or how does he respond? But I'm gonna tell you this, right? And it seems like they're littered all over the country. Justice Haynes, man, that dude, the Alabama transfer, he was a 5-star out of the state of Georgia. He was the number 1 running back out of that class in 2023. And this dude has come in. He ran for 159 yards on 16 carries. He is the truth. What a quarterback needs is what? A good running game. A guy that's going to pick up blitzes, and a guy that's going to get you 4 to 5 yards to carry. Don't be surprised if Justice Haynes helps take that team to that next level, because you got a legitimate running back. You got a legitimate guy. And I think that he has an opportunity not to be, Heisman winner, but to make a big difference in the life of Bryce Underwood, because he can turn around and hand that ball off to a guy who's going to get him some yardage. Now, granted, last week was against New Mexico. The talent level is going to increase.
Yep.
But I'll be interested in seeing how Justice Haynes does as the rest of the year.
Yeah,
the rest of the year goes for Michigan.
I will be home on Saturday to watch Michigan versus Oklahoma. I will be watching the game with a lot of intent. I think next Saturday I work, which is unfortunate, but I will get my fix. I'll get my insight, and I'll be ready to go for whatever we do. Um, it's going to be a
I
good
think
week.
Michigan wins, by the way. I think Michigan wins that game in
I do
Oklahoma.
too. I
I
think they
don't
beat
think it,
Oklahoma.
I don't think it's going to be a one-score game. I think Michigan is physical, and Oklahoma's got a good young quarterback, but let's see how he responds to that Michigan defense of four-star guys that got something to prove this year.
Yeah. Ah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Another game. Not really any other interesting games week 2. Iowa State and Iowa could be interesting. That'll be on Fox. You got Illinois taking on Duke. Illinois, I mean, it definitely could be a team that gets upset. Maybe Duke can do it. I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
SMU and Baylor. Baylor's not what it used to be. So those are the kind of the other interesting games on the docket. And then obviously Texas takes on San Jose State, and because there's a Manning on the roster, they will be on ABC. And then another game that could be fun to watch at 3:30 this week, Ole Miss versus Kentucky. There's some interest
Kentucky
there,
got them last
maybe.
year.
Yeah,
Kentucky got them last year.
so some interest.
I think, well, I'm interested because I like watching, good football, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I think about this game. I think it's played. I think it's being played at Ole Miss. Is it at Ole Miss this year? Are they at Ole Miss? I think they're in Oxford. Anyway, if they are or aren't,
Yeah, they
Lane
are.
has an extra year of those transfer portal guys being in the program. I'm taking Ole Miss, and I'm giving you the points. I don't know what the point spread is right now, but I'm gonna say Ole Miss in a walk over Kentucky, regardless of where they're playing at.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then the
I
other
got I
game,
got that much confidence in those guys that came back from last year.
and last but not least, the other game that maybe there will be some interest. I mean, a little bit just because I want to see them play is Oregon State. They take on Oklahoma State. Probably Oregon wins. Not really nothing
Oh,
to scoff
hey,
at there, but
Gundy's the star of this show, right? Coach Gundy for Oklahoma State. What is he going to do this week? Is he going to lift his shirt up again? Is he going to say, "I'm a man, I'm 40"? It's almost like you're waiting to see what Mike Gundy does next at a presser. So
yeah.
yeah, that's interesting with Mike Gundy because you just never know what he's going to say. I mean, I think he's cut his mullet off from last year. He doesn't have the mullet anymore. So maybe this is his opportunity to
Yeah.
get out in front of the cameras and do something different this week. We'll see.
We'll have to see. Arizona State takes on Mississippi State at 7:30. That's on ESPN2. And then big game for
Cowbells are gonna be ringing. Those
yeah.
Cowbells are loud in Mississippi State, man. Stark Vegas is gonna be rocking on Saturday night.
And then big game for Kalen DeBoer, man. UL Monroe. Well, we'll see what
It's a nothing burger.
we'll see what
They need
happens.
to hang 50 points on the board. It's not going to be close, but I'm interested when it gets better talent they're going against. This week I'll watch the game because I'm going to always watch Bama, but I'll probably be doing some other things while I'm watching the game.
We talked about Kalen DeBoer. Please go check that video out. But man, Darrell's got a lot of confidence in me and Ramon.
Be clear. I didn't say what I said was, the question was, will he get fired? I said there's 70 million reasons why he won't get fired right now. And I said that with that buyout,
yeah.
he has to make a determination if he's going to turn around his mindset. He probably won't. So yeah, he probably won't last through his contract at Alabama. I'd say he's safe this year, and I would say he's safe next year.
I think I saw the clip, or maybe Ramon said it right. DeBoer is not cut out to be an SEC coach.
Yeah, he's and I even said that. I said, the mentality, right? But there's a lot of nice guys in the SEC. There's nice guys in the SEC that are good coaches. But let's see what happens, man. If Alabama goes belly up and 6-6, maybe some donor will find that money to get him out of there.
They go 6-6.
But if in fact you do, you got to have somebody pegged to take over. You can't just say get rid of this guy and by the way, who's going to be our coach? Well, let's figure it out. You got to have that figured out now. So in other words, the administration is already making phone calls to agents right now. They're saying, is your guy available? Will he be available? What will it take for him to be available? If you're not doing your due diligence right now, if you're University of Alabama, keep the board there until you start doing your due diligence. And that's what happens behind the scenes when these guys get fired and another guy gets hired right away, because they've already done their due diligence on who's willing to come and what's the framework of the dollars that's going to take. Because remember, you can't talk to the coach. A school can't call the coach, but they can sure in the hell talk to the agent. So when these coaches say, "Hey, I haven't had any conversation with the University of Alabama," they're telling you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Their agent has, though. So watch those conversations over the next few weeks, and that may tell you something as well too.
Yeah, we will have to see. I was gonna ask about Lincoln Riley and USC, because I'm like, man, remember how hyped up that was, and then it just it fell through. I'm just like, man, I don't know. I really thought USC was gonna be. I'm like, man, they're gonna make the play. I didn't think they would ever win a national title, right? Because Lincoln Riley, I just don't think he'll ever get that. But I expected them to be more of a contender, and they just have not been that in the Big Ten. It's basically, look, Penn State's always competitive, but they never win the conference. It's Oregon and Ohio State every year. Michigan comes back around once in a while. It's kind of like it's LSU and Michigan are basically the same team, but in a different conference. Like, they have a couple of years where they're just like middle of the road, and then all of a sudden they have that 1 year where they just put it all together. So that's basically what Michigan and LSU are, and LSU's having that moment right now. Michigan had it a couple of years ago. We'll see what happens. But Darrell, that is going to do it. Thanks for hopping on with me talking about this. We definitely wanted to get some content out before the NFL season kicks off. No episode this Sunday as of right now. And if there is, Darrell will not be there. And if Alabama loses to UL Monroe, he may have to put himself in a psychiatric ward.
If Alabama loses this weekend, I'm walking back from Minnesota on Wednesday. I'll be walking from Bloomington, Minnesota to Indianapolis.
Yeah,
that's how confident I am that they're going to win this week.
If they don't win, they're Alabama may not make it through the next week. We will have to see what happens. But folks, that is going to do it. Thank you guys for joining us. As you can see, we're very hyped up about college football. I don't know what I'm going to title this video since we talked about so many things. But if you like this video, please like, please subscribe, and please comment. And buy the merch. Buy the merch. We've been putting the merch promo at the end of each video. We've been basically putting it at the end of each video. So if you are interested in buying a shirt, I know in the promo video it says $20. We actually are going to do more around. It's basically 17 to 20, right?
15% off for $17 flat.
Okay, so there you go. There it is right there. If you got any more questions, me and Darrell's emails are in the description, so contact one of us. I would say contact Darrell because he's got the shirts right now.
I will also post the barcode for Cash App as well too.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So if you've got any interest, please let us know.
What it was.
Please, you're all good. Please let us know. But that is going to do it, folks. We will see you guys right here next time on the GameTime Podcast.
All the viewers, subscribers, friends, family of the GameTime Podcast, do me a quick favor. All right, reach out and get your T-shirts. If you look to the right of me or the left of me, you'll see both of my colleagues have these beautiful GameTime T-shirts.
Yeah, man, check it out. You see it right here, the logo that you see on the pod.
What you don't see is me with one because they forgot to give me mine. So you go get yours before I get mine, all right? Because you're closer to the family than I am because they left me out. I love those two, like cooked food, but they left me out. But you know what? They won't leave you out. Contact Isaiah, contact God. You can even contact me, and maybe we'll get ours together at the same time. All right?
We might.
Get in touch with us for details. We'll take care of you.
Absolutely. Rock the Game Time.
GameTime Podcast. That is right, folks. We are officially selling shirts. If you have any interest in buying them, let us know. $20 is the price for that. we're a startup selling them, so maybe Darrell will be nice and
maybe some flexibility. You never know. Just reach out and see. These aren't free, but hey, we have some opportunity to put our word out there. The Game Time Podcast as we continue to grow, for sure.
It's all about support. So if you guys do want to support us, make sure you guys do let us know. Just something we're starting up. Just gonna see how it worked. We originally got them made for the pod, but then we had a couple people reach out to me and Darrell about maybe wanting to buy some. So we were like, you know what? Why not make an announcement video? So if you're interested, please let us know, and we will see you guys next time right here on the Game Time Podcast.